Okay, so the term that we use is SIF, Serious Injury and Fatality Prevention. And initially, the folks at BST developed a definition of that phrase that they used. At ACIG, we developed our own definition that met more closely our needs for our membership base. And basically that definition says that a SIF is an event or exposure that, if not immediately corrected, can result in the serious injury or fatality of the affected worker. That's a bit short. Our definition goes on a little bit to define some specific things like loss of critical body function, loss of critical body part. And it's really important to define that so that we don't have a very, very large group of things that we're talking about, because then we're right back really where we started with all injuries. So the toughest part about developing our definition was honing it in on really what we thought was serious and what was not. So for probably 90 years, we've followed a concept in safety known as Heinrichs Triangle. And it was developed in the 1930s by an engineer named Heinrich. And the idea was the company that he was working for had a lot of injuries, serious injuries, et cetera, within his organization. And so he was tasked with developing a mathematic solution to this to try to find out how they could trend it and figure out what was going on. And so what he was able to determine was, for every minor event, there are fewer serious events and even fewer fatal events, and they tend to stack up on each other that way. So over the years, we've extrapolated that initial idea and said, okay, if we tackle the bottom, we've brought that down to near misses and at-risk behaviors at the bottom of that triangle. And so what we've said conventionally is if we can attack the bottom and lower the number of at-risk events, conditions, et cetera, at the bottom, then we will lower the number of minor events, serious events, and fatalities proportionately. And so it's the proportionately where I think we failed as safety professionals, honestly, because what the data is now showing is that it's not a proportional thing. The primary idea within Heinrichs Triangle is that if you take care of the exposures on the bottom the same way, they all migrate to the top. And what we're learning now is that those at-risk behaviors and conditions that we refer to as precursors, they're not the same for minor events, serious events, and fatal events. They can all be different. So in your safety program, we have to take a step back and make sure that we're addressing those precursors. One, that we identify them, and two, that we address them differently going forward.